Hello and welcome. Mustang pilot Peter Yates recently gave a talk entitled The Evolution of the Mustang. He spoke of the haste during World War II to design and build a fighter aircraft that could match the best that Germany and Japan possessed. The P-51 Mustang was born just 122 days later. Restoring the surviving iconic aircraft are companies such as Panama Jack's Vintage Aircraft Company. They were restoring the late Bill Wiley's Mustang and chose to paint it in the scheme of Major William Shomo's The Flying Undertaker. Let us hear Peter explain why.
So part of the project being rebuilt down at Panama Jack's was, how do you paint it? What do you call it? And so Bill used this adopted paint scheme, and it was the Flying Undertaker. And that was based around this guy, Major William Shomo. He was flying the Pacific and he got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He had 7 kills in one flight. Rather remarkable. His family were undertakers back in the US, so that's why he adopted the Flying Undertaker. Bill didn't like that so much because he thought that was a bit, I suppose, morbid. And on the other side, you always had the crew chief's name on the wartime Mustangs, and the crew chief that looked after this aeroplane, his name was Snooky, or Snooks.
By choosing that name and colour scheme, they were honouring Major William Shomo. This pilot was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for shooting down 7 aircraft on one mission in the Pacific Theatre. Who was William Shomo? William Arthur Shomo was born in 1918 in Pennsylvania, USA. He trained as a mortician, before enlisting in the Aviation Cadet Program of the United States Army Air Forces in August 1941. This was just 3 months before Pearl Harbor ushered the US into World War II. He spent 2 years as a pilot at Louisiana and Texas bases until going to the Pacific in June 1944 for duty with the 82nd Tactical Reconnaissance Squadron. His unit had moved from airstrip to airstrip along the northern coast of New Guinea and then to Morotai, supporting General MacArthur's drive to the Philippines, performing dangerous photo reconnaissance and ground attack missions. The Old Flyers Group have recorded 2 videos on action near Guadalcanal, namely the Australian Coast Watchers and Franklin Nash Brave GI Coast Watcher. His squadron was equipped with older P-39 Airacobras and Curtiss P-40s, which were adequate for the photo recon ground attack role, but too short-ranged to reach areas where they might encounter Japanese aircraft. In December 1944, the squadron was given F-6Ds, which are P-51 Mustangs designed for armed photo reconnaissance. On the 24th of December, Shomo was put in command of the squadron and ordered to move it to Mindaroo, an island off the southwest coast of Luzon, to support MacArthur's landing at Linguan Gulf. During that landing on January 9, Shomo led his first combat mission in the squadron's new planes. The low-level reconnaissance was to gather intelligence on the air strength of the Japanese in northern Luzon. They approached the Japanese airfield at Tuguegarao, where he scored his first air victory, an HE-D3A Val dive bomber, coming in on its final approach. Shomo named all his aircraft Snooks, followed by an appropriate numeral. The F-6D in which he won his Medal of Honor was Snooks 5. This aircraft was later lost while being flown by another pilot. The next F-6D was briefly Snooks 6, but was changed to the Flying Undertaker. Though Shomo flew 202 combat missions in World War II, he saw only a total of 14 enemy aircraft from his cockpit and destroyed 8 of them. 2 days after his first victory on the January 11, 1945, Captain Shomo and his wingman Lieutenant Paul Lipscomb were heading north for the Japanese airfields when they saw several enemy planes flying south at about 2,500 feet. Despite being outnumbered, they immediately pulled imminent turns and found themselves behind 11 Kawasaki Ki-61 Tonys and one Nakajima Ki-44 Tojo, escorting a Mitsubishi G4M Betty bomber. On their first pass through the formation, Shomo closed to less than 40 yards before opening fire. He shot down 4 Tonys, then came up under the bomber, firing into its belly. The bomber caught fire and began to lose altitude as its pilot attempted to crash land the plane. 2 of the Tonys escorting the bomber stayed with it as it went down. Shomo pulled up in a tight vertical spiral to gain altitude while the Tojo turned to engage him. The Japanese fighter fired until it stalled and slipped into the clouds. The Betty exploded as it bellied in and the 2 escorting Tonys broke away, staying low. Shomo made a second diving pass at the 2 Tonys and downed them both. In under 6 minutes, Shomo had shot down 7 enemy planes, becoming an ace in one day. Only one other American fighter pilot scored more confirmed victories in a single mission, Navy Commander David McCampbell, with 9 confirmed victories and 2 probables on the 20th of October 1944. Meanwhile, his wingman shot down 3 of the remaining 6 planes. 3 other Japanese planes fled. I bet they did. General Kenny promptly promoted Shomo to Major and recommended him for the Medal of Honor, which was approved. Major Shomo was credited with also destroying 6 fighters and 13 bombers on the ground. He would stay with the Air Force after the war, promoted to colonel and commanding various posts before retiring. Thank you for watching. Comments are always welcome. Please like, subscribe and hit the notify bell to promote new content.